Hey everybody, I'm Diane Gale and I am the author of the blog sustainableslowliving.com, and today you and I are going to make a cast iron skillet lasagna. It is cheesy, it is saucy, it is absolutely delicious, and it's very, very easy to do. So I have taken a box of lasagna noodles and I've cooked them off until they're al dente, because they're going to cook a little bit more in the oven, and that is the only thing I've done off screen so far. I did use a whole box of lasagna noodles. I'm not sure that it's going to take that many to do this cast iron skillet, but then I'll just use the noodles for roll-ups, eggplant roll-ups or something like that later. So we'll see how many it takes, and then hopefully I will remember to give you that measurement here in the video. If not, it will be in the recipe over on the blog, so you can you'll know how many you need to cook off in case you don't want to cook off a full box. But I want to dive right into this recipe, so I'm going to bring you over here to the stove because the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to make the sauce. Alright you guys, I've got my cast iron skillet here on the stove and I've just turned the heat on. I'm going to take and put 2 tablespoons of olive oil in the skillet. And then I'm going to take, I chopped up like a medium-sized chop. I chopped up a medium-sized onion. And I'm going to put that right in the skillet. The idea, as we so often do, is to cook this until the onion is pretty translucent. I'm going to take 3 large garlic cloves that have been minced and toss them in here. And I'm going to take a 1/4 teaspoon of crushed red pepper flakes and toss them in here. And then I'm just going to let that cook down until that onion is translucent. And I'll be back so we can make the rest of the sauce. Okay you guys, so we're starting to get a little translucent. I'm not going to cook them down all the way because this is all going to go in the oven. I am going to take a pound of sweet Italian sausage and put it in here, and I'll chop it up as it cooks. I do want to cook the sausage pretty much all the way. Now normally while the onions and the sausage are cooking, I mix up the ricotta cheese filling for this dish, and I am not doing that today, and the reason that I'm not is because I want to do it on camera with you, but it saves you a little bit of time if you do that while, you know, the other things are cooking. Alright you guys, so I'm going to transfer this to a bigger pot because I'm not going to have enough room in this skillet, but I wanted you to see it. There is still some pink in the sausage, but you want to get your sausage all chopped up because you want it to distribute throughout your lasagna. Now I know you can hear a little sizzle in here, so you probably think like that I'm cooking this, but the truth is I put it on that hot burner, so it's sizzling a little bit. But I'm not cooking it any further. I actually turned the heat off. And now I'm going to take 3 14.5 ounce cans of fire roasted tomatoes, and I'm going to pour those in there. You can use regular tomatoes if you want, but I'm telling you that fire roasted tomatoes make all the difference in this recipe. I'm going to take and I'm going to stir that up. And then I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of half and half. The half and half in this recipe is optional. If you feel like you're not going to want half and half in your sauce, you can go ahead and leave it out. I think that it makes an amazing addition. It changes the flavor of the sauce just enough. I don't add enough in here to make it a creamy sauce. But just to give it a hint of flavor. And then you're going to want to mix this all really well and just set it aside until you're ready to assemble your lasagna. The next thing that we want to do is we want to make up our ricotta filling. So I have 15 ounces of whole milk ricotta cheese. You can use skim milk cheese products for this, but I mean, I want my lasagna to be as rich and creamy as possible, so I don't go with skim for any of the dairy products in it. I use whole milk. And then I have a half a cup of shredded Parmesan cheese. You can also use Asiago or Romano or any combination of the three. I have 1 beaten egg. And I have a teaspoon of basil, a half a teaspoon of oregano, a half a teaspoon of salt, a half a teaspoon of pepper, and a 1/4 teaspoon of thyme. I'm going to put that all in there and mix it all together really well. This ricotta filling done with the cheese and the seasonings really makes all the difference in this lasagna. All right, you guys, so I've got the Dutch oven skillet here. I'm going to take about a cup of this sauce and sausage and put it in the bottom of this pan. I want to get a little bit of juice in there because this is where I'm looking for it not to burn to the bottom of the skillet. And we're going to start our layers. So we're going to do sauce, and then we're going to do noodles. And you might have to, well, you'll definitely have to sort of tear your noodles to fit the pan. If you have a pair of kitchen scissors, that makes it a lot easier to do. But I don't, so I'm just going to tear them and fit them in. And then we're going to put a layer of the ricotta filling. And then we've got some shredded mozzarella, and we're going to put a little bit of that in. And then I'm going to repeat that another time. So another layer of sauce, of noodles, of ricotta filling, and of mozzarella. And then this final set of layers is going to be a little bit different. So we're going to do sauce, noodles, and ricotta. But then instead of putting the mozzarella, we're going to put more sauce and top it off with the rest of the mozzarella. So we want to use half of the sauce we have left here. That's probably a little more than half. We don't need as much sauce on the top. And then we're going to do more noodles. So I'm using probably it's about right. A dozen of these noodles is actually about what you're going to need. So if you don't want to cook off the whole box, you don't have to. And I don't think that I said before how much mozzarella. So I used 2 cups of mozzarella. So there's the noodles. I'm just going to tuck some of these that are sticking up in because this is the top layer. And I don't want them coming up out of the Dutch oven. And then I'm going to take the rest of the ricotta and put it on top. And then we're going to put a little bit more sauce. And most of this is for aesthetics. I like to have the sauce show through on the top of my lasagna. You could have incorporated this sauce inside the dish if that's what you really wanted to do. And then just topped it off with, after the ricotta, just finished up with the extra mozzarella. And then I'm going to take the rest of this mozzarella and spread it around the top. Honestly, it looks like I'm going to grab probably another half to a cup of mozzarella. We'll say about a half cup. And I'm going to put that around the top. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to cover it. And I'm going to put it in a 350-degree oven for probably, I would say 35 to 40 minutes. I did forget one thing though. So let's do that. We're just going to take some parsley and we're going to garnish the top of this with some parsley because it'll make it that much prettier when it comes out of the oven. And there we go. I'm going to take this and put it in a 350-degree oven for 35 to 40 minutes. And it is going to be delicious. I will pull it out of the oven and let it cool down for about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and then we will have a taste. All right, you guys, before we dig in, I wanted to show this to you. I hope that it shows up on camera as gorgeous as it actually is, because it's really kind of picturesque. It came out really great. I can't wait to take a bite. So let's dive in together. All right, everybody, so 35 minutes in the oven, 5 minutes under the broiler, and then I let it sit on the counter for a half hour because it is hot and juicy and I didn't want it to go all over. It looks really fabulous. As always, it's a little nerve-wracking to think that I'm going to have to try and get this out of the Dutch oven and onto a dish with any kind of grace at all while I'm on film. It's probably not going to happen gracefully, but it's all right. It is going to happen, and I think that this is going to be absolutely perfect. But we are about to find out. And there it is. A little fallen, no doubt about that. But there it is, looking pretty fabulous. Okay, so here we are. It is definitely time to dig in. I will try and get a ladylike size bite. It's still really steaming. It is so delicious. And those fire roasted tomatoes are what makes it. So you can do this with a regular sauce if that's what you prefer, but I really encourage you to just use the fire roasted tomatoes. They are outstanding. They make the whole dish. If you want to check out other substitutions, or you want to check out directions to make this ahead, because you can make it ahead, you can freeze it ahead, you can do all kinds of things. All of that information will be over on the blog, and I will put the link down below for you. And as always, I hope that you're going to make yourself some. Thank you so much for joining me here today. You and I are going to get together again, and we're going to do it really soon.